On News Hour today, hello and happy International Women's Day to all women out there. Welcome to News Hour on Souq News, your home for developmental news from Nigeria and beyond. I am Lavina Emma. We begin from Nigeria. The Nigerian government has inaugurated a committee for the implementation of the Orosanye report, which recommends the merger of the government's ministries, departments, and agencies to cut the cost of governance. The inauguration follows the announcements by the federal government on February 28, 2024, that parts of the recommendations in the 12-year-old Orosanye report will be implemented. The 800-page report recommended that 263 of the statutory agencies be slashed to 161, 38 agencies be scrapped, 52 be merged, and 14 be reverted to departments in various ministries, amongst others. A statement by the Director of Information, Office of the Secretary General of the Federation, Segun Imosen, said the SGF, George Akume, inaugurated the Committee on the Implementation of the Recommendations on the Review of Reports and White Papers on Restructuring and Rationalization of Federal Government Parastatals, Agencies, and Commissions. Moving on, Nigeria has launched the Intergovernmental Committee on Carbon Market Activation Plan, aiming to establish a robust and sustainable carbon market ecosystem. The launch, which was performed by the country's Vice President, Kashim Shettima, fulfills government's commitment to reduce Nigeria's carbon footprint and harness the potential of the carbon market, valued at $2.5 billion, with support from the African Carbon Market Initiative. Chaired by Souq Adedeji, Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the committee's inception follows the government's establishment of the Intergovernmental Committee on Carbon Markets at COP28 in December 2023. Shettima emphasized government's focus on natural gas as a transition fuel and highlighted the committee's role in formulating a national carbon market strategy to attract investments. It also requires that emissions and reduction will be promoted to sustain sustainable development. And to some financial-related stories. The Central Bank of Nigeria has partnered with blockchain firm Glua to promote the adoption of Nigeria's digital currency, e-Naira. The collaboration aims to leverage blockchain technology to enhance financial inclusion, improve e-Naira functionality, and foster financial innovation. The firm, designated as the CBN's official partner agent, will integrate its Cradle blockchain innovation directly with e-Naira, focusing on onboarding millions of Nigerians and building credit reputations for e-Naira users. This partnership seeks to streamline loan origination, tracking, settlement, and credit scoring for local fintech, facilitating direct e-Naira transfers to customers and establishing e-Naira as a definitive record for all loan transactions. This move represents a step forward in building a borderless financial ecosystem and fostering greater financial inclusion in emerging markets. Similarly, the Central Bank of Nigeria has issued warnings of impending sanctions on microfinance banks, primary mortgage banks, and development finance institutions for delays or failures in submitting their monthly returns as required. Separate letters from the CBN's Financial Policy and Regulation Department reminded MFBs, DFIs, and PMBs of their obligations under the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act, BOFIA 2020, and other regulations regarding the timely submission of regulatory returns through the FIN-A application. The CBN emphasized the importance of adhering to deadlines, specifying that returns must be submitted by the 5th day after month end, with provisions for weekend or holiday submissions. Failure to comply may result in sanctions, and institutions encountering technical issues must notify the CBN beforehand with supporting evidence. Also, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has reported an increase in foreign exchange inflow in February 2024, driven by higher remittance payments from Nigerians abroad and increased purchases of Naira assets by foreign portfolio investors. According to a press release signed by the bank's acting director of corporate communications, Mrs. Hakama Ali, remittances surged to $1.3 billion, more than 4 times the amount received in January. Foreign investors bought over $1 billion of Nigerian assets, contributing to total portfolio flows of $2.3 billion in 2024 so far, compared to the $3.9 billion for the entire previous year. The trend continued into March with heightened investor interest in short-term sovereign debt after benchmark interest rate adjustments. Government securities issuances were oversubscribed, with foreign investors making up over 75% of bids at auctions held on March 1 and 6, 2024. And now, the official market saw a slight uptick in the value of the Naira against the US dollar, making a reversal from the previous 2 days' downward trend. The Naira closed at 1,602 Naira.17 per dollar, representing a 0.22% improvement from 1,605.74 per dollar on the prior day. Conversely, in the parallel market, the Naira experienced a slight depreciation, trading at 1,630 Naira compared to the 1,625 Naira the previous day. This marks the second consecutive day that the exchange rate has remained above 1,600 Naira per dollar due to ongoing demand pressures. Traders anticipate another circular from the central bank, a consistent feature on Fridays, while forex turnover declined slightly by 2.50% to $164.76 million. Data from the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market indicates a 3.4% weakening of the Naira since the week's commencement, closing at 1,534 Naira.19 to a dollar. In the investors and exporters window, the Naira witnessed mixed movements against major currencies, recording an intraday high of 1,635 per dollar and a low of 1,470 Naira per dollar, with a spread of 165 Naira per dollar. And today is International Women's Day, a day set aside to celebrate the success of women all around the globe. Souq News correspondent Grace Komolafe completes the story.
In many households, women have emerged as an important figure, challenging traditional perceptions that labeled them as the fragile gender. This role extends beyond domestic boundaries, making significant contributions to the economy and fostering the growth and development of businesses. They are recognized for their uniqueness and tremendous abilities in nurturing homes, enhancing the overall well-being of their families, contributing to governance and socio-economic spaces. The celebration of International Women's Day on every 8th of March is as a result of the 1945 Agreement of the United Nations affirming the principle of equality between women and men. And the first of its kind was officially celebrated in the year 1975. This year's theme of International Women's Day, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress, is aimed at tackling economic disempowerment, ensuring that women are dignified and given their rightful place. During the 17th and 18th centuries, women primarily were faced with certain cultural rules, restricting them from taking some actions or having any form of choice. However, the modern era have witnessed a shift in societal norms as women now make decisions without fear of judgment or penalties. They enjoy equal rights in education and employment, among others. Founding their voices, they participate in politics, diversifying their roles in legislation, management, entrepreneurship, and decision-making processes. From the place of motherhood, they play a strong role in the reduction of poverty and often recognized as the primary caregivers of children and elders worldwide. Their influence extends beyond family, and the drive for exploration has brought about the decline in early marriages as there are more focus on education, leading to outstanding involvement in their various environments and beyond. Despite their undeniable contributions, women still face some challenges, such as unequal access to some opportunities, persistent gender biases, and underrepresentation in various spheres. To address these issues, continued advocacy for gender equality, dismantling harmful stereotypes and unconscious biases, fostering inclusive environments that empower women to reach their full potential are all essential steps, even as we commemorate the International Women's Day. By working together, we can create a world where women's voices are continually heard, their rights protected, and their contributions fully recognized and celebrated. Happy International Women's Day. Grace Komolafe, Souq News.
Thank you for the report. We move on to the energy sector, where Nigeria's Minister of State for Petroleum, Senator Heineken Lokpobiri, says the country is set to reevaluate the contentious issues surrounding the withdrawal of the operatorship of the Atala oil field from the Bayelsa government, aiming to bring closure to the matter. During a visit by Bayelsa State Governor Mr. Doye Diri to the Ministry of Petroleum, the minister assured a thorough examination of the issue, emphasizing the ministry's objectives to foster growth and sustainability in the energy sector. He highlighted the importance of increasing investments by international oil companies and boosting crude production to strengthen Nigeria's position in the global energy market. Furthermore, he expressed the ministry's readiness to collaborate with state governments, particularly Bayelsa, to advance energy sector transformation efforts. In another development, Nigerian House of Representatives has directed the Federal Inland Revenue Service to recover all taxes totaling 5.19 trillion naira owed the federal government by ministries, departments and agencies, oil companies, as well as individuals. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion by the member representing Oredo Federal Constituency, Esosa Iyawe. Moving the motion, the lawmaker recalled that in 2021, the FIRS revealed that the sum of 17.69 billion naira was owed in taxes by some companies whose addresses were untraced to date, but no action was taken to locate or recover the funds. And now, as part of effort to boost intra-African trade and foster economic development within the largest free trade area globally, the African Continental Free Trade Area says Nigeria is set to formalize the export of locally produced commodities to South Africa, Rwanda, Cameroon, and Kenya starting in April through the Guided Trade Initiative of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Despite existing informal exports, Nigerian companies will now engage in official and formal trade under the AFCFTA Treaty. The announcement came during the Abuja Stakeholders Workshop on the AFCFTA Digital Trade Protocol, emphasizing the potential of digital technologies to enhance trade and drive sustainable economic growth in Africa. Also, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has donated medical supplies valued at $290.4 million to boost healthcare in Yobe, northeast Nigeria. UNICEF Health Manager for Borno Field Office, Dr. Clement Adams, while handing over the materials to the state government, expressed UNICEF's commitment to supporting the state government in ensuring the availability of essential health facilities. According to him, the donation aims to enhance the overall quality of healthcare delivery throughout the state. Additionally, UNICEF has provided other health-related support to the Yobe government in its ongoing efforts to strengthen the healthcare system. The European Union has pledged $37 million to aid in the digitalization of education and research across Nigeria and other African nations. This commitment was announced by EU Ambassador to Nigeria, Mrs. Samuela Isopi, during the 2024 West and Central African Research and Education Network WACREN conference in Abuja. Isopi emphasized EU's dedication to supporting Africa and some Arab countries in enhancing digital education and research efforts. Through projects like Africa Connect, the EU aims to improve connectivity and services for institutions and end users with a total budget of $35.5 million allocated for its third phase. Additionally, the EU is assisting Nigeria's digital transformation and education system at all levels to facilitate access to global competitive funds like Horizon Europe and Erasmus. Nigerian Minister of Education, Professor Taher Maman, also stressed the crucial role of research and education in driving Africa's development and outlined government initiatives to foster innovation across educational institutions. CEO of WACREN, Dr. Bubakar Bari, expressed gratitude to partners, including the EU, for their support in advancing digital initiatives in the region. And it's time to take a breather. We return to take more stories from Africa and around the world. Don't go anywhere.
The National Theatre, Igomu, built during the military regime of Olusegun Obasanjo and finished in the time for the Second World Festival of Black Arts and Culture, Souq, in 1977. The theatre holds amazing treasures and memories. The artworks fill everyone with pride. The National Arts Theatre is visible from the motorway which connects Lagos Island and the mainland. The National Theatre is packed with the artworks of legendary contemporary Nigerian artists, stained glass walls by Yusuf Grillo, sculptures and murals by Lamidi Fakeye, Erabo Emopai, and many others. It was put to full use for a month as one of the 4 venues of the Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, tagged Souq 77. The complex hosted 16,000 participants from 56 African countries and the diaspora in an unprecedented showcase of African music, fine art, literature, drama, dance, and religion. The National Art Theatre was built and designed by Techno Expert Stroll, a Bulgarian company mirroring the Palace of Culture and Sports in Varna, Bulgaria. Completed in 1976, the building is one of the largest and most beautiful of its kind on the African continent. It consists of a central hall with 5,000 seats, a collapsible stage that can be quickly rebuilt, a conference hall with 1,600 seats, 2 large exhibition halls, and 2 cinemas with 800 seats each. The theater complex has a dressing room for artists, a garage, offices, coffee bars, and a buffet. It has indoor TV and radio systems, as well as booths with facilities for simultaneous translation of languages and hectares of lush green lawn around. The majestic structure sits in Igomu like a quiet mountain, mesmerizing visitors and passers-by. The National Theatre, Souq Enlightenment, the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress. Welcome to Souq News, your source for business, economy, and development insights that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, Souq News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. Souq News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, Souq News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. Souq News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions.
Welcome back, and you're still on News Hour right here on Souq News. Thank you for staying with us. Senegalese presidential candidates are now gearing up for a condensed campaign period leading to the election day on March 24, following the Constitutional Council's confirmation of the dates. The decision comes after weeks of uncertainty sparked by authorities' attempts to delay the vote until February 25 next year, which led to widespread protests and concerns about democratic regression. With the election now set before President Macky Sall's mandate, which expires on April 2, candidates have just over 2 weeks to rally support, including during the holy month of Ramadan. Opposition candidate Anta Babakar acknowledges the challenge, emphasizing the need for innovative campaigning strategies while respecting Ramadan. The ruling coalition candidate, Amadou Ba, expresses confidence despite uncertainties surrounding his candidacy. The confirmation of the election date has also brought reassurance to the debt market, Senegal's international sovereign dollar bonds experiencing a rise in value. We move on to the Middle East. Dubai has enacted a new law on the taxation model of foreign banks operating in Dubai and all such banks within the Emirates, with the exception of those situated in the Dubai Financial Center, under the provisions of foreign banks, which are subject to an annual tax rate of 20% on taxable income, with the deduction of corporate tax if already paid under the corporate tax law. The legislation delineates regulations for computing taxable income procedures for tax return submission and payments, protocols for tax return, auditing and voluntary declaration, and obligations related to the tax audit process. Additionally, it delineates the rights of the taxable entity, referring to foreign banks and their branches licensed by the Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates to operate in Dubai. Moreover, the law affords taxable entities the opportunity to file objections with Dubai's Department of Finance concerning tax amounts or fines contingent upon specified conditions. And in another development, Turkey and Somalia have strengthened their bilateral ties through the signing of an offshore oil and natural gas cooperation agreement, characterized as an intergovernment pact by the Turkish Energy Ministry. This deal encompasses oil exploration, evaluation, development, and production across land and sea blocks of Somalia. The country's energy minister, Alparslan Bayraktar, emphasized Turkey's commitment to utilizing agreements for the benefit of the Somali people and enhancing Turkey's presence in the Horn of Africa. The agreement sets the stage for imminent oil exploration activities, particularly in offshore areas, with plans for deploying seismic exploration vessels in the near future. Additionally, the agreement covers various operational aspects such as transportation, distribution, refining, sales, and services related to oil and other products from land and sea projects. Turkey's expanding engagement in Somalia extends beyond energy cooperation to encompass broader developmental and military support, including the establishment of schools, hospitals, infrastructure, and military bases. And to some technology-related stories, Huawei has unveiled its 2024 Digital Talent Development Initiative at the ongoing Mobile World Congress, MWC 2024, showcasing its commitment to fostering ICT talent and empowering societies through skill development. The initiatives introduced at the Huawei Talent Summit themed IC Talent, Nurturing Excellence in a Digital World, include partnerships with global organizations like the International Telecommunication Union and UNESCO. Notable programs include the ITU Huawei Generation Connect Young Leadership Program, aimed at addressing the digital divide through community projects and collaboration with UNESCO's Institute for Lifelong Learning to enhance digital literacy skills among educators globally. Moving on, the U.S. House of Representatives is set to vote on legislation requiring ByteDance, the Chinese owner of TikTok, to divest from the app within 6 months or face a U.S. ban. This move comes after the Energy and Commerce Committee unanimously approved the measure, marking significant momentum for a TikTok crackdown. Lawmakers received a classified briefing on national security concerns regarding TikTok's Chinese ownership before the vote. While TikTok argues that the bill effectively amounts to a ban, proponents stress the need for separation to address national security risk. The legislation aims to bolster legal authority over TikTok following previous attempts by then-President Donald Trump to ban the app. However, challenges remain, particularly in gaining bipartisan support and addressing constitutional concerns. We take a short break and return with more stories right after the break. Join.
My name is Dr. Agility Obi.
My name is Etemari Glover. Naomi.
Well done, and shout out to Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. I want to encourage everyone to keep watching Souq News. Shout out to Souq News, and yes, tune into them.
Keep watching Souq News. They are one in town.
Hey, we're watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. Catch them on YouTube and all social media channels.
Hey, my name is Frank Edowo, and I'm imploring you. No, forget that. I am forcing you, coercing you to always stay tuned to Souq News for your news requirements.
Welcome back. Glad to know you're still with us. Remember to follow and engage on all our various social media platforms. We'd love to get your feedback. Souq Limited, the Chinese state-owned oil and gas firm, has announced the discovery of a new reserve in the South China Sea, containing over 100 million tons of oil equivalent proved in place. It is located at Deepwater Kaiping South Oil Field in the Pearl River Delta near Guangdong Province. The reserve comprises light crude as stated by the company. This discovery underscores the company's commitment to developing China's offshore oil and gas reserves amidst declining outputs from aging onshore fields. As part of this effort, the company has raised its 2024 production target by approximately 8% to a record 700 million to 720 million barrels of oil, equivalent with this much coming from the offshore reserves in the Bohai Sea and the South China Sea. Moving on, Japanese companies are gearing up to offer significant pay hikes during the annual wage negotiations with unions, with expectations of a 3.9% increase, the highest in 31 years. This move is likely to prompt the Bank of Japan to phase out its long-standing negative interest rates by April. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's emphasis on wage increases reflects the government's push to address years of stagnant wage growth, lagging behind other OECD countries. Despite rising wages, real wages have continued to decline for 22 consecutive months, failing to keep up with inflation, highlighting the need for more substantial pay increases to combat the cost of living. And finally, China's electric vehicle market experienced a slowdown in sales during the initial months of the year, as indicated by industry data released earlier today. Despite a rise of 18.2% in battery-powered EV sales in January to February compared to the same period last year, this growth was lower than the 20.8% increase recorded for the entire year of 2023. The broader category of energy vehicles, including plug-in hybrids, saw a 37.5% surge in sales during the same two-month period, outpacing the overall passenger vehicle market's growth of 16.3%. Market leader BYD initiated aggressive price cuts across a wide range of models, with discounts averaging 17% for 13 key models, contributing to a fierce price war among a dozen automakers. The firm's reduction market share in February highlights the intensifying competition in China's EV market. So before we call it a wrap on News Hour today, here are the major highlights of the bulletin. And that's our package on News Hour today. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and every other social media platform for more exciting content. On behalf of the news team, I am Lavina Emma. Happy International Women's Day.